Okay, so it's 10 to 5 on the 23rd, Sunday. And there's always just so much going on. And you have so many different people's opinions and stuff. And I swear to God, I am dead tired. It was weird. There's one thing's weird is like when I can't sleep and I know that I'm still going to get woke up at the regular time because they're all sleeping. My throat, I keep coughing and sneezing my head off. My nose is all stopped up. I don't know what. Yesterday I was standing outside for a while with the dogs, and I go out and clean up the yard and stand out there and get some sun and stuff, and they're just spray the shit. So, oh, so fucking. But then there's also people, are like, it's ascension symptoms and stuff, so I don't know. I just know that. And part of it feels like it also is like I need fucking sleep, man. I need to sleep. And it was weird too, is yesterday this thing is hurting so bad too. Fuck. It is like, it's so weird. I don't know what I did to myself. But I was like so tired yesterday, and I tried to go to sleep, and it's like, if I go to sleep, there always got to be all piled on top of me. And then as soon as I try to go to sleep, then it's like, wake me up again. And so but I felt like I was like tired all day yesterday. And then I was getting a delivery, and the guy delivers it to the neighbors, 3 boxes to the neighbors. It's already dark. And even when I went out to go get it, my car was already frozen. Then, and I don't know if that just wired me or what. Because I went in, I got all my boxes, I put all my stuff away. Because the dogs were just in here snoozing, which I knew I was losing sleep at that point. And so then I come in thinking, okay, well, I'll just go right to sleep. No, I just kept laying there. I could not get comfortable. My side, this chest thing was hurting really bad. I was super uncomfortable. I felt like everything was super loud. Just felt like my brain everything was so loud. There was no way I could sleep. And one point I got up, I think I looked at my phone, it was already 10. I was like, fuck, man. I don't even know when I ever went to sleep. It just was a weird night. It was just like super high, intense energy or something, which I haven't seen anything about the Schumann yet this morning. But it definitely seemed super intense. Oh, yeah, I want to say something about this, too. Somebody, I don't know who they were, commented on the video. I think I'm not sure which video. I'm guessing it was reincarnation video. But, I mean, no matter what, I still say the same shit. So it could have been on any of them. But I think that people who are religious get really offended when you talk outside the box. And they don't realize they're running a program. So they don't realize that they are not seeing things clearly. They're just running a program of information that they have latched onto. And so this person, the other thing that I think I find it strange is that people will go around looking for topics that they don't agree with so that they can go in and listen and argue. And which I find strange behavior. So come on, and I'm sure, seen one of my videos or something, and then tell me that my tattoos have poisoned my mind and I need to do better. I'm just like, I just is so weird because it's like, because you're not in alignment with the information I'm giving. So I'm the weird one. And that you think that that is acceptable to go out and attack people and then to try and come up with something of why they are inferior. Well, you got tattoos, so your poisoned mind from all the tattooing. It's like, well, this is shit that I have known since I was 3. I didn't have tattoos. This is a lot of shit I've known before, way before I ever had tattoos. So think what you want to think. I really don't care. But it's just is so strange to me how people do that kind of stuff. They just will go in and attack people that they don't know because you don't agree with them, and it's not even like you don't agree with them because you don't even know what the hell they think. But they go come in and say something against what you think. It's like, it's none of your business. Move on with your life. Go someplace else. Go find your fucking group that you jive with. What are you coming in here trying to disrupt? Which they could very well just be one of those farm bots or whatever that are just go in to try and harass and set people off. But anyways, it's just strange. God, my nose is so stopped up. So anyways, God, I just feel like shit too. My throat is just like hurts more and more. Let me think. Because there was a few things I want to comment on. I saw another fucking video. Another person saying, you know, this whole spirituality and is a sham, reincarnation is a sham, that this concept of this being a university or a school or something, the Earth School or whatever, that, and I don't know if that's like Dolores Cannon stuff or what it is, which some people think Dolores Cannon was a psyop. But so they, you know, we're going off on that and saying, because you are forced to come here, you're tricked by these people, these guides, these beings pretending to be your family. Like, I was like, this is so strange. So these beings that are pretending to be your family are tricking you and forcing you to go back in to these lives. And so I didn't listen to the whole thing. So it was way more of like a prison than a university, which that is even a strange kind of level to look at it to me, because it's more of just an opportunity of experience, and you learn through experience, and you understand yourself through seeing yourself. So I don't know, and you look at things however you want to look at them, but but for them to feel that they're forced, all this forcing, all these people are forced and forced and forced, and a very victim mentality, which to me is like the you cannot force energy. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's like I don't know. It's moving the air through or something. Moving the air through this is not choking me out. So you cannot imprison energy, say. Energy is its own occupant. And so you are the occupier of your own energy. And so when you are setting your energy in a direction, it can't be interfered with. They some of this stuff, like it's fucking hard to explain, because it's interfered with while you're here, because it is the same to me, like the same concept of how they harness electricity. So they harness energy, and then they use it, and then they sell it to you and stuff. And so they kind of, in the micro, macro, do the same thing with you and your energy. They use your energy, and then they sell it back to you. So they compensate you with this fake pretend money for the energy that they take from you. But then they also steal more energy on the down low in kind of a manipulative kind of way. But still, as a soul, you know what you're getting yourself into when you come into this plane of existence. So it's not that, you know, like that's like really degrading yourself to think that there's entities out there that can trick you. And it's like, You may feel like scared of all of the supernatural and all the entities as a human being, but when you are an orb, you're just like the rest of them. So you aren't, when you're outside of this body, when you're outside of this world, outside of this lifestyle, outside of this existence that you believe is the only existence, then you are powerful and strong, and you have direction. You know what you're doing. You know where you're going. You are putting yourself where you want to be. So to minimize that and think that you are just this, and that you're a victim and you are tricked and stuff like that, it is, it's like minimizing yourself. It's like not understanding your own power, kind of. So it's there's another word that I want to think of to say, because it is it's like a devaluing yourself. Yeah, that's weird too. And the micro macro, the whole value system is changing at this point. The value system also being your morals, your integrity, your ethics, your scruples, all that stuff. But also in the monetary of what is compensation for the energy that you give and stuff. So everything is being revalued. And, but that is where you, the individual, has to also revalue yourself. So you need to be able to acknowledge that you are more than what you believe you are, because that is it is minimalist. It's inferior. And they depend on that. They depend on you minimizing yourself. They depend on you keeping yourself small. I can't think of the word, though, that I'm looking for. It's like it's out there. It'll probably come through my mind in a minute. But my mind is clogged up with not feeling good. It's not. God, every time. Oh, God, this is rough, man. So, anyways, that is something to just be aware of. That you are more powerful than you understand when you're outside of this. That's why I try and say that, to really try and see yourself as your spirit. Try and look at things from your spirit's perspective, not your earthling's perspective, because that is a limitation. It's a limiting belief system, and you keep yourself trapped in that by thinking that there's other beings that are over you and stuff. It's like if you take all this energy and you put it in a basket, how do you go through and say, well, that energy is more powerful, well, that energy is more powerful? It's like, no, you are energy. You are as powerful as you allow yourself to be. So everything is a belief system. If there's an energy that's over you, it's because they believe that they are powerful, and then you succumb to them being in their own belief of themselves. So you take a knee to them because you are the one who thinks that they are more powerful, because they could sell themselves off as being more powerful. But that's why you got to learn your own value. And that's why we're going through this reevaluation period, so that you can remember how valuable you are, and you have you're important. You're not a prisoner. You're not inferior. You are important, and you have great value to the universe. And you do these experiences because of the learning, because you do learn, and from learning is growth and expansion, just like I was talking about yesterday. If we weren't going through growth, then it would become a stagnation, which would become death. And that's not how it works in nature. It's a recycling. It's a rebirthing. So you are in an opportunity to rebirth yourself, to remember your own power and your own value. But it is in the system of learning, it's just like, you don't really know the whole lesson unless you get the whole lesson plan. And so in order to receive the entirety of the understanding of the learning, you have to see it from multiple different directions. And that is what the basis of reincarnation is to go through lots of different experiences and seeing them from all different perspectives to understand certain lessons. It's not just the life, it's the lesson. It's what it is you're using to understand and bring yourself into your higher value. But a lot of the understanding, to me, seems to have so much to do with compassion and empathy. The people who have a lack of compassion for others, they haven't learned that lesson. That's why there's going to be the trapping that is going to hold people into the lower vibration as this world splits apart, is the devaluing of others, the not having compassion or empathy. And it isn't a punishment. It's so they can go back in and learn more from other perspectives. So it's built into them. It's built into their code. So it's not something that you need to be like, oh, I'm a prisoner and you're stuck. That is a really low vibration way to look at it, I think. So it is, it's more important to me to look at it through the higher view of things. Look at it through your soul's perspective of, what am I doing here? What would this all be about? And then the answers come to you. And so, anyways, I don't know, because there's tons and tons of people out there who call themselves psychics and stuff like that. And, they're even spreading fear and division and hate. And so, but to me, there's lots and lots of entities out there that you can be channeling. So, and you got to look at it, what it is that the information is, but you won't be able to see what you can't see because you're programmed to experience this the way you experience it, because it has to do with your lessons. You can't go off key. You can't go off the structure of what it is that you're here to experience and learn. So it's set. It's a rhythm. It's the song that's already written. And so that's why it's important to just get with the rock and the roll of the rhythm of the experience and just ride it out, and don't try and fight it or control it, because that's where you find yourself frustrated and angry and upset and confused. So anyways, so that whole thing, but I talked so much about that yesterday, and to try and speak on what I see. But you can only see to what your level is. And your level is controlled by your experiences and stuff. So, anyways, hopefully I'm making sense. But that whole thing is just, I constantly see these people, and they are trying to make sure other people know, like you're a victim, you're stuck, you're in a prison, they're holding you captive. It's like, I don't think so. And here, we do have beings, but we are at their house. We're at their party. It's their rules. So we know that coming in. We're not just sucked in here like a vacuum. We're not appointed by God as man standing up in the sky appointing, nope, you're doing this. I told you. It's like, No, it's not how it works. And so it is okay. Okay, so like imagine if you saw energy at work. Like I had said before, how would you be able to point out which energy was more powerful? Which energy is the one that's telling the rest of the energies what to do? It's like we're energy. We're just going. There isn't no. I mean, what other energy is even going to take the time to stop and be like, hey, wait a minute, I'm in charge here. Only energies follow me. We're going this way. It's like, well, I think that we would all be like, well, I'm going the way I want to go. I'm just like, you gotta get on this grounding kind of idea of conceptualizing what about energy and how energy works, and that your energy, this is all an illusion. This idea that you're a fucking human, that you're flesh and blood, that you are, and it's so crazy too, because so much of religion is based on that this is real, and then there's this idea, possibly, that you have a soul, and this nice guy up in the sky is going to come and take you if you bow down to him. And then other people, no, you just go into the dirt. No, your energy. You just change one form to another, go through one thing after another. And I heard somebody saying today that, and this is something that I've said a long time, that not all the reptilians are bad. I've said this for a long time. It's just like not all the blues, or the, change to a J, is they're not all bad, but the bad people are in there. There's more than just them. I mean, there's lots of bad people, because there's the vamps too. But they, I think, also go into this kind of philosophy of the Zionists in those ones. And I've seen videos where people are really much more catching on about those, the people who are in charge. I guess because what Candace has put out now. And I think Charlie was really trying. So there has been a lot of the scenarios really trying to drive it home. And at the same time, they've got all of these leaders from our country going to that country and kissing the wall, like kissing the fucking feet of the crown or something. So they are showing their alliance to the philosophy of the Zionists and their alliance, which is not for us. So anyways, but that's all being exposed at the same. There's like a lot of stuff going on to expose these people, and a lot more people are catching on and seeing the truth about it. And so that is a movement forward. And I don't think that they've been, well, I think that they've been putting people, I think people have been meeting their consequences all along. It's just not being broadcasted. It's more being like these little snippets, little posts and stuff. Well, this needs to happen. This needs to happen. And so anyways, but I think that there is some of that happening. Even though we aren't getting to witness it, we're still witnessing, what the problem is. Why there's these, all these people. Which I did hear that documentary was like $20 to watch. And I don't know what it all is in it. I think it has a lot of stuff about aliens and stuff. But anyways, back on this reptilian thing. Because this person was like, she and her channeling and stuff, she said they're going to do this fake alien invasion. And it's going to seem really real. And she also said that there was something about, she also said like in her vision, Donald is standing over there laughing about it and stuff. Like he's a big part of it. It's like, I just don't think that's accurate. And And that a lot of people want to think that the reptiles are all bad people, but they're not. And there's a huge portion of them that are pulling free from their warring type of people, just as that's happening in the micro, macro, and all these different countries. People have been used and abused and pulled into wars and everything else by their governing forces, and we are all standing up and breaking free from it. Well, it's happening on other levels as well. And so there's a lot of those beings that are also kind of in like an ascension mode as well, you know, of breaking free from the controlling of the more dominant or domineering, you know, individuals or souls or beings, and that on all levels we are all pulling free from these energies, which is creating this separation, which is creating this big bang of energy. So it's a whole new birth of like a whole new world. It's almost like yeah, like okay. So if okay, so if you took this, because this map is out there, this giant map with all these land masses, and all these land masses are like Mars and Saturn and all this stuff. And so we're in a land mass, and there's I don't know if he's XC with an I and an A, one of those groups or something, and he was answering some questions, and he said, yeah, definitely that it's flat, which I think, you know, I don't know how many people are left thinking that we're still out there spinning out in space and all that shit. But anyways, all the signs are around us. And so, I mean, I've been saying it for fucking the whole time I've been talking on here. I was telling people it was before I even started doing this. So I believe it's flat. But in this map and in the Bible stories or something, we're like the center. And so that's why I was just looking at this map and us being in the center, like the center of the universe. But everything is vibration of realms and stuff. So even the concept of there just being this big, long, flat map and everything, it's different than that. But there is like a core to an apple. There is like a seed to the apple. So there is a midpoint. And we do have these poles, these portals in this realm that we are in. And so we are like in the core of the apple. And so this energy is coming through the middle of the core that creates a separation. It's like two more universes come from the universe. It's like the birthing of a new universe. And it all depends on how you look at the universe and how big or small, because everything is how you view it. So it is new worlds are being birthed from this splitting apart of these energies. And so it's new worlds being birthed. It's like the core of an apple, which would be where we are in this earth plane, which to me is very dense energy. Yeah, because I'm seeing like the apple and the core and the density too. Yeah, it is. It's like this density. It's like different. And then it kind of becomes more different textures. Oh yeah, because then it has the peel. That's like the firmament. It's like what holds it all in. Yeah, it's weird too, because yeah, all these different fruits, they all have a peeling. Because everything is micro, macro, and everything is representative of everything else. And so nature represents things. That's how you can, you know, use it as reference. So in the core of the apple, where we are, the density, the heaviness of the, oh, okay. So in the density of the core, then also look at it as, okay. Man. Okay, so I've talked about this before, about us being inside the globe, like where they want to tell us we are on this globe floating around out in space. But I've said we're like inside a globe, we're inside a bubble, inside an apple. We got a peeling around us, and everything in the micro macro. So there's more of that. But when you are focusing on one scenario, so the core of the apple, which would be in the earth plane, but the earth plane of existence is not just the earth land out the land. It's not just that. It is a plane of existence. It is oh yeah, and he also said something about that's why it's called planes, and it's because it's a flat plane and whatever. He was saying more things. But okay, so in this core, in a plane of existence, and so when you think of an apple core, there is these different parts. So you have this part, and then you have this part in here where it's got the seeds, and then you have this other part down here, and then you have like what would be like if you stuck a stick through it, like where it goes in, and so that would be like, and then each end would be the polar opposite, so it would be the opposite end of each point, which is like the pole shift, which is the pole of the opposing forces of the electrical current. And so it is the conclusion of the light. No. So it is the it's like where the two forces meet to come together. But in the core, it isn't just like it's one thing. No, that's where we have like the inner earth and all these other realms and all these other realities and realms and stuff in all of these layers and stuff. So, but in this core, in this plane of existence, it is the deeper, darker vibration. And so in that space is the heavier vibration, and that is what we are breaking out of. And then as you move out, see, and then there's the porous part of where portals are in these places where there is a space of less density, so that there is like ways to move around outside of the space, but in a place where they keep you minimized and small and inferior, you don't access those things. Well, some people do by accident, but we're going to, as we elevate, we're going to learn how to access points of existence, like portals, so that we can move more freely. But then also this core is splitting apart, and then so there is like a hole in the density of the vibration, because it is more of a density of the vibration of what in the darker vibration or heavier vibration is where negative things can occur, and more hostility and stuff. And so it is like that. It needs that environment in order to be able to express itself. Like hostility needs the environment of this existence in order to express itself, because it can't go into a higher vibration and express it because there's no space for it. So like hostility in inferiority and this divisive behaviors or tactics or whatever. It all has to stem from, man, the stem. It all stems from this plane of existence, but in all areas that is splitting apart. So the splitting of the reality, but it's a whole bunch of different realities, but like the splitting of the apple, of it pushing out and crashing through. It's like an energetic explosion, kind of, and we are creating it right now through our attitude, through our emotions and stuff. So we're creating this this splitting. We're making it occur. But once it splits off, see, then it's like this space isn't there. It's not there anymore, but that energy goes out and it has a new space so it can recreate and replay, or it's like because a lot of realities and stuff is like replaying certain storylines. It's like these certain storylines are just constantly being replayed. But that's, we learn from these different opportunities, these different objectives. So we go in and do all these different things, but it's like the same kind of story. It just plays out in different ways, like different time zones and different costumes. But it's like these certain replay. But so that energy will go and continue, and it will either create another vibration that it can exist in, or it will find and attach to another vibration that it can exist in. But the dark is not going away. The lower vibration is not going away. Even if, a bunch of reptilians, ascend out of it, there's other beings that step forward. Just like if you go to work and there's this asshole at work, a total bully. Because all these things always replay. Like, it doesn't matter. It's always the same kind of roles. Every job you go to. And so there's always the asshole. And that asshole leaves that job. Another one steps into the place. It's like these roles. And all the roles have to be filled. And so it is just as this, like, this isn't the ending of dark energy. This isn't the ending of reincarnation. This isn't the ending of experiencing. This isn't the ending of learning and growing and evolving. This is just another day in the universe. This is just another period of time. It's another flipping over of energy. And it's just another spin on the dial. And so but there will be other beings that are ascending out of pulling themselves free, because they don't see things the same anymore. And they don't look at things the same. So they're pulling themselves free from those thoughts or those planes of existence, and pulling themselves out of those programs and pulling themselves into more a formula of a higher sense of looking at things. And so and that is like the creative mind. It's creating it's like creating its own new plane of existence, its own new world. That's why a lot of the the concept of the Age of Aquarius isn't going to just be like one place with one sense It's going to be a whole bunch. There's going to be a lot. And they're going to all be like separate and individual, just as we will all become separate and individual. But there's still this concept of a collective mentality, a collective consciousness. But that is like when all of the people who vibe on the same vibe reconnect, it becomes like a collective consciousness because they're all on the same wavelength. So it's like they move almost like a machine. Everything is in alignment. Everything is in sync. But there's going to be a lot of different ones, a lot of different new places to go and experience. Oh, what was that? It was something I had seen. Was it that guy, and saying that the Chinese people are on a different vibration? But I know that, I've said we have all these different tribes, these different colonies of different beings from different places, which all has to do with vibration. And and probably a part of this awakening is us coming into that realization. It's like the aliens aren't something we need to fear. We're living all amongst them. We're all aliens. We're all beings from other places. And so it isn't, and we all come from other places. We're all old. We're all gone through lots of experiences. So it's not something that we need to be like fearful of. Oh my God, the aliens are coming. That is something that they've programmed. It's a program they're trying to run. And when you are a product of your programming, then you need to stop and question it. Like, does this make sense? What does this mean? What does that mean? And so anyways, but it's going to split apart, and we're going to go in different directions, and the dark's not going to go away. It's just going to move to a new space, and we're going to all continue going through our experiences of what it is that we want to experience. And even though it seems to some people, people don't want to go reincarnate and experience this stuff. Well, their soul does. Their soul wants to complete their soul wants to expand. Their soul wants to learn and become more, because it's just, when you think about vibration, and you're not just, there's all these different vibrations. You can't travel. You can't go to where you don't match. You can't be somewhere where you don't match the vibration. So the way I see it is the soul wants every opportunity. And even if you were to raise your vibration, be able to go anywhere you wanted, then you would be a creator and you would make more places, just like what we're going to have happen here. Is that there's just more places. There's more places to go experience. And so high vibration is, you want to work on your vibration. It's like, I don't know. I just don't get how people look at souls and life and death and stuff. It's just way different than how I see it. But anyways, I'll just share how I see it. However you see it's how you see it. How I see it's how I see it. So it's like, well, it doesn't have to do with my tattooing, whatever. So anyways, that whole thing. So whatever, I talk about this all the time. The split's happening. You are your own savior. You're the one who has to see through your own programs. You're the one who has to question your reality. You're the one who has to come to the concept of like, there's not other beings that are really over you. And we are in a place where some of these, they can't even get up into a higher vibration. They are like stuck in the lower vibration because they carry these certain traits, and the traits of control and no compassion, not caring what others go through, not looking at. It's a different of how you see things, and so they see it in a way that keeps the it keeps the dark alive. And it is like on the micro macro, the fruit, the apple, just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but it still has a core. So, and you still have souls that go into the dark to see, to experience, because that's how you see yourself, through the experience. It's an opportunity to have a reflection of you given back to yourself. And then when you are in the experience, you're expanding the dark. So the dark and the light always have to find a balance. I think that's kind of like why it's flipping, is because things were getting out of balance in the dark to the light ratio. So it flips. So it's going to flip to pull the light back in, because it's like it's got to constantly do these flips, because the universe has an automatic reset of keeping balance. And that's the challenge we find ourselves in, is our own energy, is to find our own balance. But that's another thing about balance, is you can't compare it to somebody else's balance, because it's based or due to your understandings. So you have to find your individual balance. You can't base your balance on somebody else and how they look at things. You have to find your individual balance. And that's what the universe knows, how to find its individual balance. It's automatic. It's nature. It's natural. And so it's just going to rebalance. It's resetting itself, because the dark was so heavy in the influence, and so the light flips it over and pulls it back to create a balance. And so that's what we're in, this period of time of balance. And then we ride the wave of the light to go in and start creating more, which there will be beings that will ride the wave of the dark and create more. And it's just this constant energies of going and overlapping and stuff. And so then the soul goes in and rides that wave. It's like a giant slide amusement park or something, and the soul goes, as energy of you goes in to ride the wave of one of these strings of alignment of where it's the shifts between the two balances, so that you go in to be a part of that production. Because it doesn't just happen to us, we are also a part of it. We put it in and out of balance. So we are important or integral to the universe, and how it waves, how it goes, how it moves. And so you aren't just a prisoner. You are, you're a, what are those people called? You're a surfer of energy, and you're a surfer of frequency. So you go in to ride the wave and go through the surf, and so that's what we're doing, and that's what you're always doing. So it's not, like it's God up there and grabbing you out, and devils pulling you in and holding you prisoner and stuff. You are an explorer. You are a challenger. You're a wave rider. You're a creator. You're more than what they've told you, or where you believe. So anyways, but that whole thing, so all that stuff, it's just like, and so much stuff is, just ask your guides. Ask for, show me, help me to understand, what is this place? What am I doing here? And then, things will come to you. Information will come to you. And as information comes to you, it's up to you to coordinate it and come up with your own belief system of what resonates and how you look at things. And that's what's the important part, is you figuring what you are, who you are, what you think. It isn't just like It's going to naturally happen of the alignment of the energies. You don't have to force it. You will find yourself in alignment with energies that are on your vibration. And so, anyways, once we all get to that point, I would guess that we're closer to the splitting. Maybe when it splits, we're just standing there with our crowd. I don't know. But I saw somebody doing a breakdown, so there's a couple of different posts. So one of the posts Donald did was taking out the citizenship of people from Somalia, and so and they're heavy in Michigan or something. And so he's going, that you're no longer allowed to be there. But he said the reason being is because of the corruption. It's the same thing with the EPS. The corruption that's being shown of what they've done with that, having billions of dollars being, I don't know, it's some fuckery. There's no doubt about it. So all these things where he keeps being like, well, we're doing this, it is exposing the fuckery behind it, because we can't carry on with all this fuckery. So there's a huge thing that, and a lot of these people, they get used by the criminals. And so, and some of them come in as criminals, some of them come in as instigators. They're brought here. So whatever's going on, he's saying, no more of this. And listen to what I got to say about it, because this is a big old criminal enterprise. And we're putting an end to these criminal enterprises. And then, people are, all they want to hear is like, oh my God, he's going to remove these people. They have no rights. It's like, you guys. So anyways, he did a post on Taco Tuesday or something. And he was eating tacos. And I didn't see the post. I saw somebody doing some breakdown. And so he had books there. There was certain things. So they go in and they start going like through reading the symbols and signs in these posts. And so reading the symbols and signs of this post, he said what this post is telling us is that there is going to be a big earthquake and they use like gematria and stuff too, like these numbers mean this, and then there's so much with this number stuff. I mean, that's not my, that's other beings, other people's concepts and stuff. I can hear them, but I don't look at the stuff and see the same things they see. I look at the stuff, what I see, and I see what I see, and I talk about what I see. These people do the same thing. They see what they see, and they talk about what they see. And so, and there's these codes, or there's other language, other communication observances or something. So anyways, I don't really know the whole history on gematria or whatever, but anyways, so he said that what it was saying was that on 10/2, that there's going to be a huge earthquake, and it's definitely going to be something around San Francisco and Golden Gate Bridge or something, he was saying. So I don't know. I mean, there's some of this stuff coming, and I don't know, I just don't know. I mean, I know that these earthquakes and these volcanoes and stuff are coming, but I don't know, that we know what day or whatever. And I know that each day that it doesn't happen, it just makes it a day closer to when it is going to happen. And it's going to be very violent. I don't know how fast or how extreme. In that one movie they showed when it happens in California like split. It's really creepy the way they showed it in this movie, because it's like the state's like, and then it just shifts, and this whole part breaks and goes up like that, and then goes down. So freaking creepy. Or it might be like it goes up and then it flips over. Whatever it was, it's creepy as fuck. Where you're like, ooh, that's a lot of people are gonna die on that. That's creepy. And I don't know that, I mean, I think when they were showing that, it was supposed to be like LA. I don't know. I know that some of the stuff that they show in movies is definitely going to occur. I know that the people trying to evacuate or escape are going to be met with the things that were in movies and stuff, like cars everywhere, violence, panic, people not being able to get out of there, people not knowing their way around. There probably will be military helicopters coming in and having meeting points and people trying to get to these meeting points, but there's going to be a real lack of communication. And so it was going to be the words being spread through other people. And there could be some emergency, maybe that's what Starlink has something to do with, is emergency broadcasting and telling people, to get to this place or that place. And there's going to be rescue missions happening and trying to help people. I think all that stuff that they've shown in movies is really going to happen. I think that's for sure going to happen. Whether, how it's all going to go down, though, is going to be, violent. There's going to be shaking, rattling, fuming. There's going to be fires. There's going to be water. There's going to be lots of shaking, lots of fear, lots of panic. There's going to be places going underwater. There's going to be tsunamis coming and washing things away. It's going to be really intense. And it's not going to just be in one place, because I think once it starts going in the West Coast, if that's where it starts, then it's going to cause a ripple, a shift that's going to occur underneath that will also go through other states along the country. And then there'll be effects, because there's these big dramatic effects that are going to happen in the middle of the country and then on the East Coast too. So it's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. But these are all things that it's like it's the story we came in for. It's like, this is what we came here. This is just the ending of this other world, this other plane of existence, so that the other ones can start. And there was all sorts of lessons and stuff. There was all sorts of opportunities to clear out karma with past people. And a lot of people didn't use that. They cut people out of their lives and stuff. They didn't try and heal old wounds and let go of things. They stayed in resentment and anger and bitter and frustration and stuff, which is going to be, part of their hold that binds them into a vibration of continuing their learning, to go through another experience then. But it won't be, it's like, okay, so, because there's people who hold on to things, but you can pull yourself free out of the karmic entanglement. But you do it through forgiveness and acceptance. You pull yourself free. They can keep themselves in frustration. You don't have to go back in and play out the stuff with them. There'll be other players for them to go out and experience it through. You don't get pulled back in because they are still holding on to resentment towards you. You have to let go of all the resentment towards them, and the acceptance of them is just, to me, it's kind of like really recognizing that, we're all just struggling. We're all confused. We're all broken. We're all, we're not evil and trying to hurt people. We're broken. And when you hold on to being angry, then it's like you're not even acknowledging that you're also broken. You're also hurting people. So it's just this multi-level thing. So anyways, but nobody can bind you still into their lessons if you let go. Some people say like you're cutting ties or whatever, but it is the entanglement, the ties, the loops, the strings that hold us in our entanglements, our karmic entanglements. And so you can, dissolve those strings of attachment off of you by letting go and going through the process of forgiving yourself, forgiving them, whatever it is that you need to work on. And so that is all part of it too. But so whatever's going to happen, you know, we're getting closer and closer. There's more things heating up, and we are also, it's our energy that is creating the flame. You know, it's like people are in fear of what's going to happen, but we are creating it to happen, because it's the catalyst, it's the propelling, it's the movement to the new experience. And then on this Marjorie, you know, that whole thing. So apparently now she's put in, you know, she wants out, but it's like as soon as she gets her retirement or something. So as soon as she gets more money or whatever, like, I don't know, some of these people, they're on these retirement plans where we're supposed to pay them for their fucking life of these huge salaries or something. It's a little ridiculous. But so, I guess AOC even said, she was mumbling down the hall or something, saying something to somebody. And, but, so Marjorie went from, I don't know, apparently when she went into office, she had like $700,000 worth, which still seems extreme to most of us. Most of us, like, $700,000? If you had that much money, why would you even want to go do a job like that? Why would you want to go and be in service to, you know, like, why wouldn't you just go enjoy your life? But anyways, but now she's leaving. She put in for her retirement, and she's leaving with 24 mil, which is, you know, it's the same thing as Nancy. And so there's a huge thing about the trade that has gone on the inside. And so that is all being exposed. So I would say Marjorie is bringing a lot of exposure to the situation, because she's always so out there blasting off. But her sitting there saying, you know, there's no 4D chess, and Donald's a part of the whole thing and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't believe that. And, you know, there's lots of people who believe it, but I don't believe it. I believe his role is not to just be the good guy or the bad guy. It's the guy that's here to create change. It's here to get us to see things and stuff. And, but I think he is also of the light, because it's bringing in the exposing of all these different things. It just depends on what angle you look at the things, you know, because there's a lot of people who think, even on the Somalian thing, that, you know, oh, well, look at what he's doing, taking these people or whatever. And so it all just depends on how you look at it. But to me, it is, they're trying to expose all of this dark, all this corruption. And so how are you saying he's not doing that when he's doing it? I mean, he's doing it right here and there. He's doing it right in front of us. Every day he's doing this shit. And even when he is there, you know, playing golf with them and going in and hanging out with them, it's so that we bring our attention to who these people are. It's like, because you know, he has a wave of followers, haters and lovers. He's got all these people who have eyes on him all the time. And so where he goes, our eyes go. Where he goes, our awareness goes. We follow where he goes, and he is showing things. So, you know, if she thinks he's, you know, I don't even know. I think, you know, she's just trying to distract or whatever. But all these people are just playing roles and being exposed. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's some people out there saying there's a whole bunch of people in Hollywood that aren't even there anymore, and that we just have all these different people. Like, there's like, say you had 100 actors before, now it's down to 10, and you got the 10 playing all 100 in masks and shit. It's like, fuck if I know. Like, this place is just weird. That's all I know. It's just weird, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But all I know is that it is a time of change. This is a time of change. And I know as this stuff is occurring, it's not so you get caught up in fear and hate and division and stuff. Those are energies that hold you back. You got to go and move out of those energies. And in order to do that, you have to find parts of yourself. You have to let go of parts of yourself. You have to, change, you got to change who you were into who you want to be. And so it's a journey. It's a path. And so anyways, but I definitely see him exposing things and going to places to bring people to our state of consciousness, like, so our state of awareness. So, because there's all these people are shadow people. They do their dirty work in the shadows. Well, when he walks in, he brings in the light and he brings our attention onto these people, and then we start seeing. And so he had to bring attention to the real. He had to bring our attention to there, because it is like the core of the apple, is like the middle of it's like, the place where so much negativity comes out of, because everything is micro macro. So it's not just one apple. There's a whole bunch of apples. There's an apple inside of an apple, inside of an apple, inside of an apple. And so that had to be brought to our attention, because so many people think it's the Holy Land, and you gotta love these people. They're the gods, or they're the chosen, or Jesus's people and stuff like that. When it was all, a beard. It was all a facade. It was all a mask. And so, so he has to bring our awareness there, and then have all these little things happening, so that we think ourselves through it, so that we become more understanding and stuff. And then he's got all these different players, and they have to create these scenarios of these tensions with Donald, because it brings more tension. Because if, Candace wasn't arguing with calling Donald out, then a lot of people wouldn't be paying attention to what she's saying. But she has a lot of eyes on her. And then she brought up all this stuff, like she was exposing all this stuff about Charlie. And and Eric, like, there's so much stuff. It's like we have so much stuff being exposed to us right now. And it is all about the corruption. Oh yeah, and there's this judge too that is just got busted. And whatever his group is, they go around into other countries, they all hang out together and they get together, and then they have their way with little people, and then they do it so much that it ends the little people existence. So they do, they fuck them to death. And so there's a whole group, and it's and his email, it's like a whole thing. And then they're sitting there saying, and he's not going to be going to prison or something. These people no, what was it? There's no consequence, of what the consequence is that Donald has. But Donald put that out there in the first reign, in the EOs he put in there. Anyone who commits a crime against the little ones, that is an automatic punishment of, the thing he's been talking about. The rope, the squad, the whatever it is. Well, I think you get a choice over a few different ones. But yeah, it's curtains for you. It's done. It's gonzo. So it's not, that's a set thing. There's no protection. But this is the exposing of how the judicial works and how corrupt it was, and how we had all these weirdo pervs in there that were taking advantage of it. And they're all in there protecting each other. And so all of the facade, or the walls of darkness, all the ways that they were able to hide, and then the shadows away from our view, is all being removed. So yeah, I would say Donald is removing the walls that they were able to hide behind. Everything that they were able to hide behind, he's taking it down. He's destructing it, just like he's destructing a business or something. And it is like destructing our medical, our education, our political, our corporation, our agriculture, all of it. And it all was consumed by the darkness. They had all infiltrated into all of our ways of existence. And that's why, he's got to expose it all, and then it's going to flip. And we're going to go into a different kind of way of existing. We're not going to be paying for resources. We're not going to be paying loan sharks to have a place to live. We're not going to be, it's just going to be way different. And so, if they think like that he's not doing that, well, he's doing it. Like, we can watch it every day. This stuff is happening. So when people are trying to say, oh, he's not doing it, I'm like, well, I don't know what you see him doing, but I see him doing just that. I see a lot of things happening, and I see economic and I see lots of Wall Street guys saying that we're on the verge of this huge collapse, and they start explaining about these different things. And so, and one thing too, with these people with their big fund, and this only got 24 mil, that is going back. That's also was in the EOs. Everything of the crimes that they're involved in, which are big crimes, which if you're doing the trade on the inside, when you are, fucking us over, and, well, you got to have this business, and then they're fluctuating it through inflation and stuff, through the whole thing. It has to do with TREASON, and it has to do with this RICO. So there's these certain crimes that all are, and it's the crimes against, the humans. That is a big one. And those all have the same consequence. Is that whatever, if you do these to the little ones, it's the same consequence. And so the people who are involved with that stuff, and then all of their funds flip back into the community, back into the people. It goes back to the people. So there's going to be more than enough funds to start creating the world that we want to create, and that there's no reason for us to have to pay for things. Like, it's going to be, and there's not going to be any, there's a part of our existence where there is our energy also has to be feeding it, because otherwise it gets out of balance. So there will be a sense of playing a part in keeping the world running, but it won't so much just be a job that you go to that you hate, but you'll be still like a cog in the wheel. We still need all of the cogs to hold the wheel to be able to roll. So we will all still play parts in the energetic field of going in that direction. So, but it's not going to be consumed by a job that takes all your time that you don't even like and all that, because it is really has created such a destruction in the family. And there's so much more of these horrible stories and these annihilations and this, and there's so many things, these toxic things coming to the surface of the destruction of what it's led to in our society. And it's just so much horrible stuff being exposed. So many horrible things that people do to each other. And don't forget that those aren't all by accident either. Those are different storylines playing out, different soul storylines all playing out. Everything has purpose and meaning, but you don't need to get caught up in all the other storylines. It is you have your own storyline, and that's where, it's like kind of you need to become, what is that called? The main player, the star of the show. You got to become your own star of your own show. You've got to become your own main character, and don't just focus on everybody else's storylines and make them the front of your focus. And the more that you just witness and observe, it's just like it's reeling through, but you stay focused on your storyline, on you, and what it is that you need to do, and how it is you're looking at it, and asking yourself the questions, well, what programs am I running? How am I looking at this? Why am I looking at it this way? Why do I think this? Why do I think that? Why am I doing it this way? What am I trying to get? Just really dissecting you as an individual and pulling yourself to the point of, being the authority over self and being in love with yourself. You got to love yourself, man. And it is work to get there. Even people who sit there, oh, I love myself. It's an ego love. It is. I saw this video. I just found this irritating. It was this young girl, super young girl, and she's trying to. These people who try and, like, oh, look at, we have an age difference relationship, and it's just so great. It's like, dude, I've been in an age different relationship. You got nothing in common. You got nothing in common with this person. And, I mean, it's very basic, whatever you have in common. And it's like delusional. It's like we are raised in different periods of time. And so when you've got this huge age difference, which she looks like she's in her 20s, and this guy looks like he's in his 60s. So it's like, you're not even from the same world. What is it you have in common? Because you want his money and he wants your body. So you got this common give and take situation going. Because I don't know. There's been so many men who have left their wives for younger girls, and then went back and been like, oh my God, you just got to go. I don't know. But anyways, this video that she was doing, they're standing in their garage, and she's like, oh, we're doing a fit check. Okay. And he's dressed, he's a thin, a lot of people were like, oh, he's so handsome. Oh, he just looked like, a regular guy, don't he? And he was thinner, and he had on these shorts. They didn't look like old man shorts. And so there was lots of people commenting on that, which was like, I bet you, if you went to France or something, you'd see all sorts of men wearing these kind of shorts. You went to Greece, you probably see it's just like, somebody wears in America. It's like, oh my God, where's your cargo shorts? Get your baggy shorts on. Get your long baggy ones on. It's like, it's weird. But anyways, so, he, whatever his outfit is. So she's going through and telling him how great he looks and pointing out everything about his outfit and name dropping everything about who designed it, like, oh, look at how expensive this is. Look how expensive that is. It's like, oh my God. So she does all this with him. Then she starts on herself. And every fucking thing is name dropping. Her purse, her glasses, everything. I was like, oh, I had to comment. After I'm just bitching about people doing this. But I was like, does this give you a sense of value? Is name dropping give you a sense of value? Or the guy funding it give you a sense of value? Because to me, it's like, where are you trying to find your value? Like, who gives a fuck what designer you're wearing? Seriously, if you've got to go out and tell everybody, like, oh, guess what I have on? I have Gucci on. That's what I got on. It's like, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? Like, what the fuck? I was like, what? and then too, to try and market, like, oh, I guess she also has, I mean, her whole platform is this age different relationship. And I don't know, apparently he gave her a yellow diamond ring. It's like 8 carats or something. She's got to make sure and show and tell how many carats it is. It's like, okay, you really are trying to give yourself value through the, this monetary name dropping system or something. It's like, you got to find more value in your sense of self. Like, people are valuing themselves on, how much attention they can get, who they can reel in to fund them and stuff. There was people who were all in the thing, oh, well, I don't want to work either. Oh, like, you just go out and that's kind of like whoring yourself out. Seriously, if I'm just going to go just take some rich guy, I don't give a shit about him. I don't love him. I just want his money. That is not, that's like a lack of integrity, it is, you should care. It should be about the person, not what they have. And so, anyways, I don't know. This bothered me. I just was like, what? And besides the fact I've been in a relationship, I've been the younger person and I've been the older person. And even when the only person that I really felt like that we had something in common, we were 4 years apart. And they even would just sometimes point out things that were different. But once you start getting into 10, 15 years, even 6 years, 6 years, it was like, it depends on, I guess, where you fall in the time period. If they're at the end of the one generation and you're at the middle of another or something, it depends on where you are. Because in this world, we were being, it was like a cycle. We were being trained and taught different things at these different periods of time. And so it's very, to me, like a very surface type of relationship. It's not based on any kind of depth or something. And I don't know. And, you know, and to me, it does look silly. And there was people in the comments, you know, oh, this is you and Pop Pop. It looks like you're with your grandpa and stuff like that, because it does. It does. I'm sure they go out to restaurants and stuff and get mistaken for that. And she's probably trying to show her, you know, look, I'm a paid for chick. I've got all the, you know, he's rich. I'm fucking paid. And so, I don't know. I don't know. People are all here for their own experiences and stuff, but I think that really you do have to look at where you find your value. And you shouldn't find it in a fucking label or somebody else's pocketbook. It is, you have to value you as a being of nature, of a creature of life. So anyways, but you know, I mean, at this time here on this plane of existence, we are in a period of growth, of learning how to value ourselves, and going through the process. And the process is right there. It's like fucking opening packages every day, you know. It's the stuff is out there, but then the people just, their focus all drops into these other places. But that is the focus that's going to move them where they're meant to go. And if you're focused on hate and division and fear, you just keep going over and over, replay, you're just stuck. You got to watch it every single second, what's about to go next and stuff. When you can't just step back and just let it all play out, then, you know, you're focused on fear. You're focused on control. You're focused on something that you need to let go of. And so, anyways, that's how I look at it, you know. And the main focus needs to be learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody else, and learning how to have the day you want to have. You can't go wrong. And so that's what I'm going to do. Keep on working on that. And that's enough to keep yourself focused. So anyways, we'll see what this day plays out. Now it's on a Sunday and it's the 23rd. 23 is always a big number. So we'll see how this day plays through. We'll see what happens, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.